Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationships, Sunday night at 9. I am your host, Coach Glenda, here with my course manager, Mr. Rufus Carpenter. As most of you already know, Rufus and I have created this forum where you can discuss trials and triumphs in past and present relationships. We encourage everyone to speak their truth and talk as much or as little as they would like. Just a few housekeeping rules. We ask that you mute your phones until it's your time to speak to avoid any background noise. And let's be respectful to allow everyone to speak their truth and let everyone get their comments and their feedback in. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Carpenter so he can tell you a little bit about his background before we jump into our topic for tonight.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rufus Carpenter, and I come into this relationship space a little different than most. My background started as a little child. As a child from a family of 14, we lived in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and it was 14 kids and my parents, so it's 16 people in that house. So you learn a thing or two about the human connection. My thing was then we never had enough anything. So any time I had a chance I could pitch in, I pitched in. I remember one weekend when I went out and I was cutting grass for people. I was raking yards. I was picking up leaves. I was chopping wood. And I was even going by the highway and picking up soda bottles. And all of this, and I was even doing grocery shopping for the older ladies in the neighborhood. And after doing all this, I made $35 some change, most money I ever had in my life in my hand at one time. So I raced home to get this money to my mom. And when I gave her the money, man, she just broke down into tears and she held me and kissed me on my forehead. Rufus, I love you. And that moment changed the rest of my life. From that point on, I wanted to be a helper. I wanted to be a part. I wanted my responsibility, my purpose from that day was to be a helper and give service. My mom gave me like $1.35 of it to spend on my own, and that was the best money I ever made in my life. From that point on, even to today, that has stuck with me. And some people call it the helper's high, and that helper high has been with me all my life. And that's the essence of human connection. But my relationship didn't stop. Training didn't stop there. I was married 27 years, and if you know anything about relationships, I learned about communication. I learned about compromise. I learned about trust. And these are the things, not so much for the human relationship, but these are the things that you need in order to realize how to get along with people and how to be that person that you should be in a relationship. Relationship didn't stop there. I was joined the United States Army, and one of my main jobs in the United States Army was human relation and race relation leader, where I had the responsibility for going to our units. Anytime we had a race or relationship issue, I'd be the first person on the scene, and I would do what's called initial intake form and determine what level of responsibility or resources we had to throw at solving those issues. So that's my background in relationships, and because of that diverse background, I feel very, very comfortable to talk about the next nice subject. Glenda?
All right, tonight's topic is emotional healing, the journey to inner peace. Now, emotional healing is about finding peace in those unhealthy relationships and positioning yourself to receive the relationship you deserve. The best way, in my opinion, to heal emotionally is to forgive yourself. What's done is done. Yes. And when you know better, you do better. Never deny, discount, or downplay your feelings. You are important and you deserve the best. Take God's rejection as your protection. So that was my little, intro message, before we dive into the topic for tonight. Now, again, I said emotional healing, the journey to inner peace. Now, we are trying to hit at least 4 areas for tonight. The first one I want to start off with is the breakup that became a breakthrough.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Very interesting. The example for tonight is Lisa, 42, stayed in a marriage for 15 years, feeling unseen and unappreciated. After years of emotional neglect, she finally chose herself and walked away. I know that feeling. Through therapy, journaling, and intentional self-care, she found peace and discovered her voice again. Sounds like Lisa was going through some things for a very long time. And it seems like she should have got out a little sooner than rather later. However, as I stated before, I can relate to this example. Now, anybody on the line want to speak on that example for tonight? Are you familiar with the breakup that became your breakthrough when you really gave up on somebody after you done tried everything and you feel like all hope was lost, and you pretty much called it quits, and you started to feel as if once you let the person go, your whole life started all over again. You got a second win.
Yes, I can relate to it.
Okay.
My previous marriage was 17 years.
Okay.
And about, I would say 15 years of it, well, it started like after 7 years
Okay.
of it. And I did stay in it longer than I should have. Um, the outcome, a pastor at the time, he made me aware that I was angry. So he encouraged me to go to anger management, Christian counseling.
Okay.
And that was the best thing that happened to me. I mean, that's the best thing that I could have done. Because after I went through that, I dealt with the anger through the word of God. And I had to deal with forgiveness. And the forgiveness that took even though I forgave, the process still took a while.
Yeah.
But I knew that the breakthrough had came because when I thought about the person, it didn't hurt anymore. I didn't feel any remorse or anything. So I knew I was over it. So that experience it just made me just like, no way.
But I'm glad you brought that out, because all of us on this line, myself as well as Glenda, you, and I can't speak for Ava, but all of us have probably been through that, because that's basically how we learn about relationships. All of us, if you've dated or married or more than one person, you've been married or more than one relationship, you've experienced that, and that having your feelings just emotionally just torn to pieces and going through stuff, and you swear out you'd never love again, or you swear out that, hey man, my whole world is ended, I'd never be the same, and it hurt my heart and did all this and all of that, you get stronger. You don't always get bitter, and it was right when they told you were angry, because you had to know your feelings. You had to get your peace. They had to bring you back out of that hole that you were in. But all of us struggle, and that's how we learn. You fail, you learn, you get up, you grow. That's the way it's done. In relationships, ain't no difference. You learn. A lot of times they have what's called givers and takers in relationship. You have those people that just set out to get what they can get, no matter whether it's something tangible, or whether they want to get something sexual or whatever, or they want quid pro quo, something for this or something for that. That you got those takers that do that. And if you're a giver, if you're a natural giver and you get with a taker, oh man, you just gonna go for a ride. And sometimes givers don't know when to stop giving. They give their all, and at the end of the day, they're just lost. Why? Yeah. Why? Because you're a giver, he's a taker, or she's vice versa. You're a taker and he's a giver. Whatever it is, you learn. And once you learn, you pick yourself up, and the breakthrough is you can survive. You can start all over. Like Dr. Johnson said, you get to forgive. And not only do you forgive that person, but you forgive yourself.
Absolutely.
Because you let your boundaries down. if you had boundaries, you let your boundaries down, and because you let your boundaries down, you paid the price. So you learn. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go into that, Coach Glenda. It's just that this is a heated subject for me because emotions at you when you meet drama queens and drama kings and this is a good one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I just say something for a laugh real quick?
Yes.
Because he is deceased, and I was in this was after he passed and stuff. I was in a grocery store, and this man, he was a foreigner, and he looked at me like he was going to say something, right? I looked at that man so hard, I guess like I had a knife. He turned on his heels real quick. I said, "You better not say nothing to me."
And since you got left, and I got to add on to that. You know what that talk about? Know what that is? your bullshit meter can see it coming.
What you say?
What happened? Your bullshit meter can see it a mile away.
Nah, go on about your business. Oh boy.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the next example for tonight. We have letting go of situationships. Tasha, 37.
Wait, stop. Time out. What is a situationship first before we get into that? Because I don't want to be only confused one. I want what is a situationship?
It's definitely not a relationship. It's no commitment there whatsoever.
Right, that's what I was going to say. No commitment.
Oh, no commitment? Okay.
No commitment. It's like when I drive through town, I'm going to hit you up. But when I'm not in town, don't even worry about it.
Right.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I understood. I don't want to be confused on this call.
Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, letting go of a situationship. Tasha, 37, had been in a on and off relationship for 6 years. Hoping things would change, she realized she was giving more than she was receiving. Typical. When she ended it, she grieved, healed, and later attracted a partner who valued her. Way to go. Tasha, you did a good thing. But the only downside to that, she was doing that on and off again for 6 years. That was too long.
Yeah, but for a situationship, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if there's no commitment, I would say I'm gonna be a little generous. And at least the first 2 years, you're not what the other person is looking for. Especially once you start getting feelings for the other party and they're not reciprocating, they're not, making you feel as if you're the only one and they're not pouring into you. Baby, they still looking.
But can you both agree to a situationship?
Can you what?
Both agree that the situationship is what you're looking for.
Can we both agree?
No, not me.
Dr. Johnson, not her. You play for keeps, huh?
Yeah, it's
not the thing of playing for keeps, but you just don't want somebody just dipping in and out anytime that they get ready, like you at their beck and call. No.
Right. Exactly. I totally agree with you on that one. It's either all or nothing for me. If I'm not the only one, I won't be no one.
What about dating, though? What's dating then?
You can be exclusively dating. A situationship, that's like an understanding. I can sleep with or go out with whoever I want to. And when I get ready, I can come and play house with you. Like she said, at their beck and call. But when you establish a relationship, there is some type of exclusivity, some type of commitment. And then everybody can still cheat, but at the same time, there is a mutual understanding in a relationship. That's just my interpretation. That's why I say you have to be open and honest in the beginning with your communication, because if you're not, you know, feelings are going to get hurt later on down the road. Somebody feeling like I'm falling in love with him or her, and the other person is, no, I don't even see you like that, ma'am. I just came here to hit it and get up out of here. You know, I just look at you as a piece of meat. You know, you have to look at stuff like that. So, I mean, no, not in my opinion. Situationships are very complex, and they are often misinterpreted because people think that they have something with someone and they really don't. They just really have a situation where homeboy or homegirl flies into town or drives through, they stop at your house.
Conversation look like to correct that, or look like to bring hope to that, or to kind of get that on a different trajectory? Hi, Felicia.
Dr. Johnson, you
well,
want to
first of all, she was in it for 6 years. That's a long time. I mean, even after a year, I mean, no.
All right, but here's my question. I'm in a situationship, and I might be, unless I'm the guy in a relationship. Hey, go figure. I'm the guy in a relationship, and I feel like, hey, look, I love the situationship. I like the freedom of it. So how would you tell me, how would you bring me back to the center, or what would your conversation be to me to get me to understand your feelings? What would that conversation look like?
I would ask you, what are your feelings towards me? I would want to know how you really feel about me.
And I would tell you.
And you would tell me what?
I enjoy the time we spend together.
Is that all you enjoy? You just enjoy the time we spend together?
While we're together?
You already done messed up right there with me, but I'm going to play this out. I'm gonna let this ride out. So what do you like? You know, when we're together, what do you like about that time?
I like the fact that we're very passionate with each other. The intimacy is great. We like-minded, kindred spirits. We enjoy doing stuff together. No friction, no problems, no heavy commitment.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to cut to the chase. Do you see yourself with me on a regular basis, like in a long-term commitment relationship?
Possibility.
I don't do possibility.
Well,
but also with that, do he just come to her house, or she have the flexibility of going to his house whenever she wants to?
Well, she can come to my house whenever she wants to. I don't have a problem with that.
I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about the example.
We're doing a scenario. Come on now.
Yeah, you know, with them situationships, you know, it can go either way. Because she trying to get something from him and he trying to get something from her. So you said possibility, Mr. Carpenter. So, I mean, when, you know, do you have an estimated time of when you'll know for sure what your true feelings are for me, whether or not you can have a long-term committed relationship with me?
When the mood hits.
Oh, dude, you know what? You barking up the wrong tree. I mean, his responses are too vague. So that lets me know that I'm not the only one, or he's still looking for something, or I don't have exactly what he needs or want for a lifelong commitment, especially if that's what I want and I desire. I'm entertaining somebody that's not really into me 100%. So I need to let him go and go find somebody that is willing to give me all or nothing, that don't use vague words like possibility or maybe.
Here's my only thing here.
Go ahead.
You've invested, let's say you invested because I think your timeline is 2 years. Your timeline is 2 years that you would give a person. The lady in the case study gave 7 years. 6 years. She gave 6 years in the case study. Okay, so let's say the 2 year mark. At the 2 year mark, you decided that, hey, look, something needs to change. And this reason why I brought that up. Remember the framework we got called start, stop, and continue, that upper level communication?
Right.
This would be a great opportunity for that. Because right now you'll raise a flag. Hey, look, let's stop. Let's talk. Let's get together. Let's get together tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We can do it at my house, your house, or we can go to Longhorns for dinner. And we had a conversation. And since you would be the one that wanted clarity, you would probably be the one that would start it. You would say, hey, look, in our relationship, here's what I wish we would stop. And you can say the stop, let's say, how would you phrase it? Since you know what you want out of a relationship, Coach Glenda, and I'm Coach Rufus or Joe Blow here, and I want the goodies without the responsibility. I don't want to buy the cow. I want the milk. So how would you bring this in? How would you tell me in that using that start, stop, and continue framework? How would you bring this in? Or how would you reel me in?
Well, I'd definitely go to a public place. It wouldn't be at neither one of our homes.
Okay.
But I would ask you, can you tell me where do you see this relationship is going?
Okay. Now I want to use. At this time, I really don't know what to tell you because we've been. I would talk the way we talk. We've been kicking it for 2 years now. And I enjoy everything we do. I mean, we're having a great time. The time I spend with you is golden for me.
Okay, well, right now, I need you to start being honest with me. I need you to tell me, where do you see yourself with me in the next, maybe, I'll give you another year.
Well, honestly, I tell you, just what I'm saying is true. It's going really well. I think it's golden. That's
so you want to go another year just like this, just playing
let's use the start, stop, and continue method.
Yeah, I asked you. I need you to start.
Yeah, but you got to let me know. You got to let me know. This is the start, stop, and continue. So the start, you would want me to start being more concrete with my the direction, right? You want me to start. So
I need some definitive answers.
Okay, so when I tell you, I say, hey, look, at this point, Glenda, I really don't know. Okay. My true feelings right now, I really don't know what tomorrow gonna bring for us because we've been together now going into our 3rd year, and it's been fun. It's been a great ride.
Oh, okay.
So I really don't know. So that's the start. Okay, so that's the start. All right, what's stop and continue?
Okay, the next one is stop. I need you to stop playing with my feelings because it seems like we ain't going nowhere further than the bedroom.
Okay, then I understand you want me to stop playing with your feelings, so I have to express what my real thoughts about our relationship are. Is that what you're asking me?
Absolutely.
Okay. At this time, Glenda, I want to be honest with you. I've spent the time with you. I enjoy spending the time, but I'm not ready to settle down right now.
I appreciate that. I thank you for your honesty. I wish it came a little sooner than later, because now it's time for me to communicate. No, you said stop. Oh, continue. Okay, that's the next one. Okay, so I'm gonna continue by saying I appreciate you giving me your feedback, letting me know your true feelings. So I'm gonna discontinue this friendship or situationship so you can go on your way and find somebody on your level that wants to tolerate you, doing drive-by hits, because I'm not the one for you. So I'm going to take my feelings and put them off to the side and go about my business and find somebody that wants to pour into me on a daily or on a regular basis. How about that?
Glenda, I'm sorry you feel that way, but realize we've been together for so long, and you're just gonna let it go.
We haven't been together long enough, and we're not gonna go any longer because you don't want anything. And at our age, we should at least know what we want.
Okay, then all right. Hey,
all right.
I wish you the best.
I wish you the best.
And that's why it's important you can have that start, stop, and continue, because you need to pin a person down to actually get them to understand. And that's why you got to revisit that in a relationship. You got to come back around and revisit that start, stop, and continue. Because if you don't let me know your feelings, I think everything is fine. We kicking it, we having a great time. I love her, she loves me, and we had a ball. But really, it's not. Really, she's not getting what she needs out of relationship. So she's making me understand that. Then I think I make a decision. Am I going to put up or shut up?
And that's what asking the direct questions too, knowing the right questions to ask to get the answers that you want or need.
Yes, and some guys, well, not guys, some people, guys and girls, it's no different. Some people are very good at giving you answers and not letting you have anything. They're, hey, look, I love you, I want to be with you. If we can, let's give it a year. Let's give it 5 more months, 6 more months, and then we'll decide where we're at. If it haven't grown by then, okay, I'll back out gracefully. And all that person did was brought another year to play on your emotions and your heart.
Exactly.
And a lot of people fall for it. A lot of people say, okay, no problem. Because a lot of times ladies feel like they're nurturers. They feel like they've got a box of Band-Aids and some glue and some craft skills, and they're going to fix this guy. And this guy said, got me a sucker. I got this one, buddy. And he got you, her, Sally.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions about that example before we go to the next example? I just wanted to let everybody know, because communication is the key, and you have to set your boundaries.
You know what? Sometimes, based on what you're saying, a lot of times as women, we don't ask the questions because we don't want to know the answer.
That's right.
We already know that he playing us. We already know it, but we rather him play us than lose him. And one thing about a man, if a man loves a woman, he really, really loves a woman, he's going to make that commitment because he don't want any other man being with his woman. So he going to lock her down, because the thing about it, you've been waited 6 years for this man to make a move. But the reason he made a move because you're not the one. And then as soon as he find the woman that he wants to be with, he could have been with met her within a month. He proposing to her. And then we as women, we get mad with ourselves, but we already knew it. The signs were already there, but we just rather have a piece of something than nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I ain't never understood that. I think more of myself than to tolerate that.
But a lot of ladies go through what they saw in their childhood, or what they saw their auntie do, or the mama do, or the cousin do, and they seen the lady in the hall do, and they think they're supposed to take it, think they're supposed to tolerate it, and some just afraid to be alone.
They saw the downside of the consequence from the person on the receiving end. They didn't like that.
Yeah, but here's what they saw. They saw the person like that, but they didn't see what they were afraid of. They're afraid of more than what they saw. What they saw don't trump what they're afraid of. People are so afraid of being alone, or being by themselves, and not having somebody, that they can't picture anything else worse than that.
But you know what? With me, it was 2 things as a young girl that I stuck to. And that was, I'm not shacking, and I never wanted to be a unwed mother. Now, shacking, my mother told me something, and sex at that time, I wasn't even thinking about it. I think I may have been about 9 or 10 years old, and she said, if they can get the milk for free by the cow, I didn't know what in the world she was talking about. But as I got older, I understood, but no,
You're absolutely
right. Just to have a man, to say I have a man, no, I know, no.
Number 3, what's the third one, Glenda?
All right, rebuilding after betrayal. Nicole, 50, faced infidelity in her marriage. The betrayal shattered her self-esteem. Through deep inner work, setting boundaries, and therapy, she rebuilt her sense of self-worth and learned to trust herself again. Yeah, that cheating is a doozy. It can really mess you up mentally, because in some in some ways you think that something was wrong with you. I was the problem. I wasn't attractive enough. I didn't do enough. I didn't give enough. You always feel as if it was you. You never look at, everybody got free will. It was his choice to cheat. And in this scenario, he did. And it just tore her down, it just tore her self-esteem down. But I'm happy to know that in the example, she was able to rebuild her sense of self-worth and learn how to trust herself again, because it really wasn't her. It was the choices that he made for himself and his marriage that destroyed it.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than that.
Go ahead.
No, the reason why I'm saying that, because I divorced and my wife didn't cheat on me, and I divorced. That when you've been married with someone or been in a relationship a long time and you've really given your all to someone and it stops for whatever reason, and it stops, you look inward first. Well, first you may have, it's like a death. It's like a death. At first you might be angry with the other person because they broke up with you or they don't want to be with you anymore, or you guys divorced or separated. And then you might have denial. Because I know I went through a whole bunch of emotional feelings before I was able to pick up the pieces and move on. I went through anger. I went through denial that I thought maybe if I just hang around and keep myself open, we'll get back together. So that denial really was rough. Bargaining. I even tried bargaining. I even thought, maybe if I just, do a lot of things with her and, let her keep the house and do all this, that maybe she might say, well, that's a nice guy. Why am I doing him like that? I bring him back in. So, and these are the same things you go through as a death. The same thing. Depressed? Definitely. I still might be depressed today, to be honest with you. That depression, so these are the things. So when you talk about the betrayal or divorce or anything like that, it really messes with your emotions. You got to be a strong person in order not to be affected by these things. And if you're human and you got a heart and feelings, this is really rough, because the bottom line is you want to get to where you can accept it and move on. And in this scenario, Nicole, she began to accept it and move on. But this case study don't give you the whole story. I'm sure she went through those 5 steps. I'm sure she was we can tell she was angry because she broke up.
Right.
Was she sad? More likely, she was depressed a little. And that's why it's very important that when you understand these things, you understand your own emotional feelings and you have your inner peace. And sometimes you just got to go through these steps, and it might take a while. Some people might go through them a little quicker than others. Some people might go straight to acceptance, because if you read this case study, it seemed like she went from divorce to acceptance right out the gate. Boom, I accept it. I'm okay. Let's move on. But that's not normally how it always goes. Okay, I just wanted to bring that out. All right. Any questions about that? When I say it's like a death, and you got to go through those 5 stages of grieving. Have anyone else ever figured that? Have you been in a relationship that really meant a lot to you and it didn't go the way you wanted and it broke up and you still had feelings and you had to process them yourself? I'm the only one? Oh, goodness, y'all are good. That's awesome. I'm the only weak link in this chain, huh?
No, if you was in a serious relationship, yeah, you're gonna process it through it yourself.
Y'all make me feel like a marshmallow. I saw that, Felicia. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay, all right. The 4th and final one. We have unpacking childhood wounds. Dana, 33, realized her toxic relationship patterns stemmed from childhood neglect. Through inner healing, she learned to set boundaries, communicate her needs, and attract emotionally healthy relationships. from what it sounds like is I think in the earlier example, you had stated something about, women seeing how auntie and mommy was going through. And, that's why they, settle or put up with some of the stuff that they, tolerated in their current or, past relationships. That sounds like what this example is referring to. So, but the good side on this one that I can see, that through inner healing, she learned to set boundaries, which are very important, and communicate her needs. When you're open and honest out the gate, regardless of the situation, the relationship, or what's going on around you, it saves a whole lot of trouble in the beginning. And even sometimes you have to hurt people's feelings because I just got to be honest, or I don't want to lead you on or play with your feelings. That's why I have to say what I have to say, whether you like what I have to say or not. I'm going to have to tell you the truth. And people don't, most women, they don't want to hear the truth. They just like what they like and they want what they want. They, like someone said tonight, they'd rather have a piece of a person than not have the person at all, which is shortchanging yourself, in my personal opinion. But, at the end of the story, Dana, she started to attract emotionally healthy relationships because she found something within herself that was more valuable than, the toxic patterns that she was getting involved with in her previous relationships. And I think she probably sat back and thought about, the stuff that I witnessed when I was a child, whether it was a mom or dad or a sister or a aunt, that wasn't healthy. And it doesn't have to be that way. Healthy relationships do exist. So, that's my interpretation. Example. Do anyone want to provide any additional feedback or comments on that fourth example that we talked about?
I just want to say that children imitate what they see.
They do.
And they're just like a sponge. That's why you have to be careful what you do in front of them, because they soak up what you see, good or bad.
Right.
And me being in a domestic violence marriage, and I was in that marriage for 10 years. I was young. I got married at 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed married that long because I had, at that time, as the marriage went on, I had 6 kids.
Right.
And my self-esteem, so and everything, I felt worthless. I felt no one else would want me with 6 kids. And it went on and on and on for 10 years. But what the camera broke, what broke the camera broke the straw that broke the camel, was when I said I had enough. Because at 10 years, my children were growing up. And I did not want my daughters to think that a man beating on you means he loves you.
Correct.
And then when he beats on you, then he brings you gifts to, I'm sorry. And then all you're doing is going through the next cycle because you're waiting on, it's going to happen again. You just don't know when it's going to happen. And to this day, with all my children's boyfriends or husbands or whatever, that's a deal breaker with me. Because if you put your hands on my kids, it's over. And that's something I talk to their boyfriends and husbands about before they even get in a relationship, that I will not stand. But you have to be very careful, because you're saying you don't know what you'll do until you get in that situation.
Right.
Easier said than done. And when you kids see being abused, it keep going on and on. Then if they were abused, then they grow up to be abused someone else. Exactly. So my ex-husband saw his brother beating on his wife. And he admired his brother. So he just brought that into our marriage, and it went on and on and on until I said I had enough. But we just have to be, as parents, we have to be very, very careful what we do in front of them. And in the relationship, kids will never see their mom or daddy hug or just kiss or something like that. It won't be strange to them. And when you don't see any love in the home, you can't imitate that.
Right.
If you've never seen it.
Correct. Absolutely true.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I talked to my brothers and sisters. It was 14 in my family. I talked to my brothers and sisters. We never seen my dad and mother kiss or hug. Never. And I asked my brothers to make sure, and my sisters, had they ever see it? None of us seen it. So we didn't know anything about love. We knew responsibility. We knew that, you come home and you bring your check home and you do the things around the house. But we never seen the passionate moments. But it was 14 of us, so they had to have some passionate moments somewhere, but we just didn't ever see it. So I understand what you're saying, Felicia. I really understand that. But when you talk about your emotional piece, and one reason why this subject is so important to us tonight, and especially to me, I got a message today about a suicide and murder event in Virginia, where a 35-year-old Black woman killed her twins and another child and killed herself.
Yeah.
This is going on right now in Virginia. And when you're talking about what makes a person do that, emotional, your mind can really, messing with the mind is not a good thing. So when you talk about that kind of stuff that's happening right now in this modern relationship stuff, when people doing this crazy mess and people are killing them, and now you can't even prosecute them because they're killing themselves. They're killing you and themselves. So how can you work through that? That's why stuff like this is very important. How do you recognize and understand healing? How do you heal your emotions? What are some of the steps? The first thing you do, how do you recognize it? How do you acknowledge? How do you confront it? How do you release in that area? Inner pain ain't no joke. Inner pain involves a lot. When you emotionally hurt inside, and a lot of us shut down. Some of us, we just shut down and go inward, and we don't hurt anybody but ourselves. Some of us the opposite. Some of us want to kill the world. We're gonna blow something up, shoot somebody, do something. But how do you do that? How do you get the well-being? How do you get yourself back to center? What are some of the things, and what are some of the key steps let's talk about what are some of the key steps to healing when you know that your emotional state is off? What are some of the ways of healing? First, you got to acknowledge your pain. That's the very first thing out the gate. Acknowledge the pain. Identify that you've been wounded. And sometimes it could be a fresh wound. It could be just breaking up. Or it sometimes be a trauma from a few years or a few months. And it finally got to you. You sit down one knee, thought about it, and said, no, he didn't. Or no, she didn't. And you think about that. It could be a childhood thing, like we just came out with, like Felicia just said, it could be a childhood trauma or experience that still affects you. I saw my dad beat my mom up every Friday night. And I just, as little kids, we grabbed my dad by the leg, tried to cushion the blows that he put on my mom. He'd just shake us around like little rag dolls. And I promised myself I'd never hit a woman going through that. So first, you got to acknowledge it. Then after you acknowledge it, you got to release and let go. Some things you can change, and some things you have to put in God's hands.
Yeah.
Some things you gotta accept the healing. We have to heal ourselves, because the pain and the anger are gonna be there. Those things are sure enough gonna be there. The pain and the anger, resentment, all this is part of it.
But you know what, too? I mean, in the African American community, counseling, they don't want to go to counseling.
Yes.
And being educated about counseling, is important now. Things are getting too crazy for people to not acknowledge that they need counseling. And people need to stop making excuses or ignoring the red flags in people.
Right. And a lot of time counseling is just sometimes helping you sort stuff out. They're not saying you're crazy or a lot to it. It's just that sometimes you need somebody to help you sort stuff out.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
some
it
people
is.
look at counseling as like you trying to say something is wrong with me. It's nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with you. They always want to point the finger at the other party versus themselves. But the other party really doesn't realize that the counseling is so you can talk it out. talk out your problems with a mediator, somebody that can stop you and the other person from arguing, to help you understand the other person's point of view. I tried to go to counseling with my ex-husband one time, and I think it was supposed to be 6 weeks. We went one time. He
But
said,
not only that, with counseling, it can help you get other resources that you need to get through your situation. Because a lot of people think that they're alone, but there's a lot of resources out there that can help them.
When I was getting out of the military, I was forced to go to counseling by my commander. And that was my first time actually sitting down with a psychiatrist going to counseling. And the person talked to me, and I thought everybody else had the problem.
right.
And I'm going there telling this guy this stuff, and I'm knowing he's going to tell me, yep, you're right, everybody's got a problem. He shocked the heck out of me. He told me the problem was me. He said, I'm the problem. He said, let me talk you through this. Let me help you out. And I thought he was playing. He was serious. And when I left him, I went home, talked to my family. You know, he said, you got a problem? My family said, yeah, you do have a problem, Rufus. He was telling you the truth. And I said, from that point on, I started looking at it a little differently. And that was my first realization that sometimes some of the mess we think in our head just ain't right. I learned firsthand. So,
you know, my first experience, my first appointment with the counselor, I go in there, it was a Caucasian lady, an older lady, and a younger Black lady. She was being trained. So sit down in the chair, and I start running my mouth off about my ex. That Caucasian little lady just stopped me dead in my tracks. And she told me, it's not about him, it's about you.
Yes.
So I understand, yeah, no, you're not going there for somebody else. You're going there for yourself.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what the man told me. He said, I got the problem. I said, okay. I won't be coming here no more. But yeah, but that's it. So, but a lot of this can be resolved by setting boundaries and keeping your boundaries. When your emotions have been raked over the coals and you don't have peace, one of the first thing is establish some clear boundaries. And the boundaries can be emotional, it can be physical and mental. Because you got to protect your own inner being, your own inner peace. You can't depend on no one else to protect you or do it for you. You can't depend on your spouse, your lover, your partner, your friend. You have to protect your own peace.
Absolutely.
So please don't let nobody play with your boundaries. If you set your boundaries, you set them for a reason. Don't you be the one that drop your boundaries. Okay? Next one, practice self-love and self-care. That's one of the biggest things, self-care. That's so much important because we always want to fix everybody else. We want to help everybody else. You first got to help yourself, like on that airplane at 10,000 feet. And when the air oxygen mask drop and the pilot tell you, so okay, first, before you attempt to help anybody else, help yourself first, then put on somebody else's mask. Because if you try to put on somebody else, put their mask on before you put yours on, you'll be dead. And then, but you want everybody to live, so you got to protect yourself first. You got to have some self-care and self-love. And it can be whatever exercise or thing you have to nurture your body, your mind, and your spirit. You know, that's what it is. Then you have to seek support. Like Dr. Johnson said, sometimes it's a therapy. And this right here, to a Sunday night at 9 is a sisterhood. You know, I'm not the only brother, but basically this is a sisterhood. The framework is designed that 20 of you and 20 of your girlfriends are in one of your living rooms, and you guys are relaxed. You sit back, got a couple glasses of wine, and you're relaxing, and you're talking about relation issues that you deal with, and you're giving each other advice, and you're sharing your wins as well as your loss. You're sharing your breakthroughs, and that's what this is. Sometimes just sitting with your sisters your sisters, and just let it all hang out. Just hearing yourself say it sometimes releases and help you get those breakthroughs. And that's what this is all about. What are your questions or anything pertaining to anything we talked about tonight? Anybody got any last minute comments or any thoughts? Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Rufus.
Anybody got any thoughts?
Hi, Rufus.
Hey.
Hi.
I said hi. Well, what are some signs? What are some signs that you might need some emotional healing or some emotional work? What are some of the signs? Do you feel physically drained when you're around certain people? Where are you out?
Yes.
Crying all the time.
Yep.
Or snapping at other people that you wouldn't normally snap at. They didn't even do anything wrong to you.
Yep, that's one. And here's a good one. When you repeat a toxic relationship, one toxic relationship after another, after another, after another, after another, and you're the constant denominator in all of that.
Yeah.
That you need some emotional help. You need some emotional healing. When you struggle to maintain your own boundaries, when you drop, you remember that thing we did about your what's that? We said your boundaries and drawers come down too fast. Remember that discussion we had? Yeah, that one. Those type of things. Here's another one: feeling unworthy or unseen in relationship. When you feel you're not the priority, and you know you're not the priority, and the person is making sure you know you're not the priority, that's an emotional problem there. That's when you need some healing. And another one, resentment, holding on to past hurts, or not forgiving yourself or the other person. These are the things. And when you talk about emotional healing, it's not about forgetting what hurt you. It's not about forgetting. It's choosing inner peace. It's choosing to get beyond that. When Michelle Obama said, take the high road, when they take the low road, you take the high road. All this is a choice. You have a choice about things. You can stay down and depressed, and you can let your peace, you can let them rob you of your peace, or you can choose. Now, if you don't have the strength, that's when the counselors and stuff come involved. But if you have the strength to choose or the choice to choose, whether you want to let your peace or let them upset your peace or keep your peace. I think Martin had a thing, stop, talk to the hand and not the face. Little things like that are things that can help you maintain your peace, your inner peace, and your emotional stability. They got something called emotional intelligence and all that. But the most thing is got to realize is that if a relationship is not nurturing you, if the relationship is not uplifting you, if you're not growing, if your voice is not being heard, or your suggestions or your input is not being validated, or you don't feel like this is a relationship for you, then you might need to reevaluate. You might need to step back and make some other decisions for your life. Just that simple. Just that simple. Glenda, you got anything you want to say before we close this out?
No, I as always, I thank everyone for showing up tonight. I know it's always a sacrifice on Sunday nights at 9 to show up and participate, especially if you have to go to work tomorrow. But I just love seeing all of y'all faces. Y'all make me feel so happy and special. As always, if you haven't joined our Facebook page, our public Facebook page, please do so. It's under Glenda Driver. You'll see the Reset to Healthier Relationships logo or banner on the page, as well as, we do upload these live discussions by Wednesday of the following week. So you can, go back and listen to it again, press rewind or fast forward to some of those funny spots and some of those points that you like they were talking so fast I couldn't write everything down. So just visit us on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, like they say on the advertisement, as well as the relationship conference is coming in June 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Correct? Okay,
Yes.
and then we have our
Yes, sir.
cruise as well. Looking
Since
forward to
Felicia's on up there, and Felicia, I know you won't plan on saying anything about this, but can you give us an update on the cruise at all? Do you mind getting us some words or some updates or some thoughts or where we're coming up with the cruise?
No, everything is pretty going well with the cruise. I just still have a few people that have not booked their cabin. And for those who haven't booked their cabin, the ship is close to being filled. Evidently, it's a lot of people going on this particular cruise, so there are not a lot of rooms left. And I tried to give as much, keep as many of the group on the same floor so they kind of be together. But when people are paying separate at different times, I'm unable to do that because I'm unable to lock down the rooms unless I have the payments. There's still, like I say, it's almost full, but there's still some spots left. I think some of the cruisers are now looking for flights now, I guess to see the prices. But if you, for those who have to fly down to Port Canaveral, the return flight, the first I would advise you to fly down the day before.
Correct.
Do not fly the day of. Do not,
Right.
with the way, especially with the way these flights going right now, make sure you fly the day before. And when you return back to the port, if you're leaving back that same day, the best flight to get is after 1 o'clock, because from the deportation to getting off that ship, we never know what's going to happen. Sometimes deportation is quick. Sometimes it's so long and lengthy. Sometimes you'll get off at 11 o'clock if the ship even dock at 8. So I wouldn't advise anybody to get a one to after 1 o'clock of a return flight. Yeah. So I think that's about it, because right now I think it's a total 13 cabins right now. So you got like 26, 27 people right now, I think, something like that. Okay. 23, 27, between 23, 27.
Thank you for that, Felicia. I appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody else got anything before we go to sign off? Okay, I appreciate that. I'm glad to see you next week. We'll be here next week. Oh, that's right. When is Valentine's Day? Is that before next week?
And the Valentine's Day is Friday.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we won't. Well,
you can tell you're not buying anything. If you don't know what Valentine's Day is, you evidently not buying anybody anything.
Do y'all know why Felicia said that? Do y'all know why she said that? She is the Valentine queen. If anybody do Valentine, it's Felicia. That is her day. I think if she do Valentine better than she do birthday.
That's right.
Time is her day.
I love me, and I'm gonna do me.
so we'll probably do a Valentine's special or something. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for
Felicia.
Bye, Dr. Linda. Bye, y'all.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.